Welcome to day 3 of the 7-day mind map. And for me personally, day 3 is the most exciting of the 7 days. And the reason for it is you're going to very clearly see side by side what your positive and negative thinking is doing in your life. And you're going to get a very clear picture of where exactly it is that you need to do work in order to change your life. This also means that the day 3 video is longer than any of the other videos this week. It also means that the worksheet has more work than any of the other days this week. But I'd like you to not panic too much. Day 4 and 5 have very, very little work to do. So if it takes you 2 or 3 days to work through the video and the worksheet for day 3, that will be fine. Take day 3, day 4, and day 5 to slowly but surely work your way through the video and through the worksheets. But in the meantime, tomorrow on day 4, watch the video, start doing the exercise. It takes just a few minutes. Day 5, also watch the video, do the exercise really quickly, even if you're still busy finishing off day number 3's work. If you are ready, please grab your day 1 sheet and your day 2 sheet on which you've mapped out your negative thinking and your positive thinking. Get them side by side, grab a green pen, grab a red pen, and let's get straight into day 3's work. I am really very excited. Are you ready to get started? Please get the sheet named day 1 in front of you, where you have already mapped out your automatic negative thoughts. Have a red pen, have a ruler, and let's zoom into the bottom of this page where the graph is. Right, get your red pen, get your ruler. We're going to start at the N for north. Place your pen on the little arrow right between the N. And on the happiness spoke, I marked myself as being a 3 for happiness on my automatic negative days. From there, draw a line to the east and then to the stress spoke, where I marked myself to be a 4 on the days that I have really bad automatic negative thoughts. And obviously you'll be drawing the line to what number you mapped on day number 1. From the stress spoke, we're going to the little arrow above the S for south. And from there, I'm drawing a line to the 3 on the reactivity spoke, because I felt like I am sort of 50% reactive on days with automatic negative thoughts. Then to the west, the arrow next to the W. The last one is to the motivation spoke, where I marked 2 for my automatic negative days. And then on to the north to complete the graph. If you have the time, if you want to spend the time, and it is good to do it because it's a nice visual, color in on the inside of this outline you've just drawn in red, and there you can very clearly see the graph of my automatic negative thoughts on the days where I have a bit of negativity lingering. If you're ready, let's move to day number 2. These are the times when you're able to have a lot of positive thoughts. Make sure that you get a green pen and a ruler in your hand. Let's zoom right in to the bottom of this page. Bring the graph to the front. And let's map out what our positive thoughts look like. For myself, making a line from the N to the happiness spoke. And on really positive days, my happiness levels are really high at number 5. From the happiness spoke to the east, and from the east to the stress spoke, where I marked myself as having stress levels of about a 1 on positive days. From the stress spoke, we're going to the south. From the south to the reactivity spoke, where I marked myself as being about a 1 on the reactivity scale on positive thinking days. From the reactivity spoke, we're drawing a line to the west, and from the west to the motivation spoke. And I think my motivation's pretty high generally, but especially on days that I'm having a lot of positive thoughts. And the last one is to the N to complete the graph. And once again, if you have something green to color it in with, or else whatever you have to color it in with, if you have the time, if you want to spend the time, color it in so it's pretty clear to see what the map of your positive, empowering thoughts are. So now we've completed the graphs of our automatic negative thoughts and our positive, empowering thoughts. The next question is, what does that mean? What do we do with the information? So I've got a little presentation that I'm going to run you through to make you see and understand how that fits in for you. If you wanted to color in your graphs quickly, go ahead and do that. And I'm going to come right back with a presentation and show you where all of this fits in. Welcome to your two minds. So after we've mapped out our automatic negative thoughts and positive, empowering thoughts, let me introduce you to where they fit in. Your two minds. Without becoming too complicated about this, all of us have two minds functioning at the same time. We have a subconscious mind and we have a conscious mind. How do these two fit in? Well, our conscious mind is concerned with what we normally think of thinking. We think of thinking thoughts in the way that I can stare out of the window and have a look at the tree and notice how green the leaves are and the pretty little flowers on the tree. That's how I'm consciously directing my thoughts, and that's what my conscious mind does. The conscious mind is very good at planning. The conscious mind is very good at coming up with creative solutions while I'm sitting and tinkering and deciding how I want to solve a problem. The conscious mind is also what has come up with your positive, empowering thoughts. So this is what my conscious mind looks like. The subconscious mind is the one that's responsible for long-term memory. It's where things are stored. The subconscious mind functions with emotions and feelings. The subconscious mind likes to work in habits and patterns and automatic processes. And the subconscious mind is what produces your automatic negative thinking. Now, having these two, subconscious and conscious mind, they're designed to have a perfect balance. You see, a great example is when you learn how to drive a car. For the first while that you start driving and learn how to drive, your conscious mind has to do all of the work. You've got to really consciously think about what your foot is doing on the clutch, what your foot is doing on the accelerator, how and when to brake, how hard, how soft. And while your dad or your mom, your older brother or sister can sit next to you and chat to you while you're trying to do this driving thing, you're almost not able to utter a word because your conscious mind is doing all the work. Now, your conscious mind is not fast. Your conscious mind is quite slow and it consumes a lot of energy, which is the reason why once your conscious mind has figured out how to do this, your subconscious likes to package it neatly into a pattern and then take over the running of that activity. Because now you've learned how to do this, you've formulated it into a pattern, and your subconscious mind uses less energy and runs a lot faster. And this is really what makes you an effective and a productive human being, is the fact that your subconscious can store things in patterns and run them over and over and over again without using too much energy. Now here's the really, really important part, and this is the most important part to grasp, is the way we're designed. We run 95% of the time from our subconscious minds and only 5% from our conscious minds. And if you think about it that way, it's the only way that we're possibly able to run. The conscious mind is too slow and uses way too much energy to be responsible for any more than 5% of our day-to-day life. The subconscious mind has to be the one that runs the show because it uses less energy and it's much, much faster. And if we had to rely on the conscious mind to do the important things like breathing and keep our heart beating, we would die because we're not able to be that conscious 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The impact of the 95% versus 5% though is that as much as I like the compass of my conscious mind is not truly my internal compass. The internal compass that runs the show all the time is my subconscious mind. Now, if I had a choice, the compass of my conscious mind clearly knows where north is, and I would love that to run my life. But the compass of my subconscious mind, which looks a little bit all over the place, is the internal compass. That is the default mode. That is where my life gets run by pretty much all of the time. And when you hear someone saying that positive thinking doesn't really work, well, there is a truth to that, because I can't sit and think positively and keep my thoughts in my conscious positive mind all of the time. When my subconscious mind takes over the show, the question is, how positive is my subconscious mind? Because that's the only thinking that really matters. Now, truth be told, my subconscious mind does look a little bit more like this. I have worked on it for a very long time, and while it at least looks like it's better at keeping me on the road to north, because it knows a little bit clearer where north is, it's not nearly as nice a compass as my conscious mind, which shows very clearly where north, east, south, and west is. So there are three things to really truly understand about how your conscious and your subconscious mind work together. And that's the first thing is that you need to very deeply understand that the subconscious mind is a program. It is a recording that runs the show. There's no two ways about it. You might not feel good about the fact that your subconscious just runs, and you might have no real free choice, because the program running in your subconscious has already decided what choice you will make. You need to understand how the program came to be in your subconscious mind. And the way that it came to be in your subconscious mind was roughly through three things. When you were a little kid, up to about 7 years old, your brain was generally in a different state of brain waves. It is a state that records a lot better than at any time after that in your life. So your subconscious mind was hyper recording for the first 7 years. And in fact, about 80% of the program that's running your life right now was already recorded by the time you were 7 years old. It means that recording in your subconscious mind, you pretty much had no control over it. Your life is being run by a program that you had no say over. The second way that recording was made in your subconscious was through repetition. And again, we come back to the example of driving a car. It was repeating and repeating and repeating until the point that your conscious mind could shift the data over into your subconscious, and your subconscious could just take over and run from there. So number one, the state that your brain was in, the brain waves that was your prevalent state as a child. Number two, repetition, 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 repetition. And number three, a heightened emotional state. And think about it this way: most things in your subconscious, most deep memories, came to be through repetition, but there are a few that took a single event to be so deeply ingrained into your subconscious that it'll never go away. And they all got there through a heightened emotional state. It could be very negative, such as a really bad trauma that happened once, but it means it's fixed in your subconscious now. It did not need repetition because of the heightened emotional state. Or it could have been really positive, like the birth of your child, which is a singular event that changed your life forever and changed that recording in your subconscious mind forever. And then the third thing you need to be clear about and really clearly understand is that you can create a new program. You can write a new program to run your life. That is in your hands. Let's see how that works. One Mind Academy is what I use to teach this system of bringing your two minds into one space. And as you bring your two minds into one space, you create a one mind state. It is the state in which your conscious and your subconscious mind are not opposing each other. They're coming into one space. Your subconscious mind slows down and it kind of sits and listens. And while your subconscious slows down and sits and listens, you have a lot more control over what it's recording and what you want it to be recording. Now, one mind state rests on three pillars. And the three pillars that a one mind state rests on is how you think, how you move, and how you eat. One Mind Academy is an ongoing coaching program with weekly lessons that helps you combine your thinking, your moving, and your eating in a system that takes you from losing in your mind to winning in your mind, from automatic negative thinking to positive empowering thinking, changing your ants into pets. Now, let's get straight into the worksheet for day 3 and turn those ants into pets today. So on day 3, I'd like you to just read through the top and really understand that your automatic negative thoughts are just a natural defense mechanism that your mind uses to try and keep you safe. Absolutely no judgment here. There are some examples of automatic negative thoughts that you can read through. Some of them might be very true for you, and you can take a pen and mark them. Some of them might make you think of automatic negative thoughts that are more accurate to you, and please write them at the bottom of this page. Going to page day 3.1, ants come in different species. And it's important for you to have a look at your automatic negative thoughts and be able to see what kind of automatic negative thought that is. At the top of this page, I've got a quick summary of all the ant species, but it's important to please read through the next 2 pages where there's more in-depth detail of what that means. But let's run through them really quickly. There are always thinking. It means always type of thinking. And it's when you think thoughts like, this always happens to me. I can never do this. No one ever. And that type of thinking is flawed because it's never everyone that thinks that way. It's never me that can never do this. So always thinking is the first type of ant you could have. Focusing on the negative means in any situation, there's always something positive to see as well, but focusing on the negative means you clearly look past the positive and only see the negative. So number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, please read through all of these pages, which will give you a very clear understanding of what the different species of ants are. After you've done that, you'll have a better understanding of how to finish this worksheet on day 3.4. This is where you're going to classify your ants and come up with a more positive alternative to your negative thoughts. So have a look first at the situation, and you have space here to write some of your automatic negative thoughts that you have identified on the previous page, and there's even more space on the next page. And obviously feel free to make copies and work through all of your automatic negative thoughts if you want to spend the time to do that. So as an example, an automatic negative thought you might have, write down the situation that this thought occurs in. And in this example, it might be when a deadline is fast approaching. And the thought might be something like, the whole world is against me, or the universe is conspiring against me. And I want you to write down how much you believe that thought, a percentage of how much belief you have in that thought when it occurs. And it might be as much as 100% believe in the thought, the whole world is against me. And I want you to check out the species of ants and see what species, and it might be more than one, what species of ant does that thought belong to? And in this case, always type thinking is definitely true, because thinking the whole world is against me is an extreme thought. It's not in the middle. It's either everyone does or no one does. The whole world, the universe is conspiring against me. In a thought like the whole world is against me, I must clearly be choosing not to see any of the positive and only be focusing on the negative. Because if I was seeing any of the positive, I would have been recognizing who is being good to me. The next ant species would be thinking with feelings, and that is believing that every feeling is the truth. Feeling like the whole world against me means the fact is and the truth is that the whole world is against me. And it definitely is also part of the personalization species of ants, where everything that happens around me, everything someone says, every action anyone has, or even in traffic, I make personal about me, and believing that everything happens around me is aimed at, directed at me. It's all about me. So what emotion can I be feeling when I think the thought the whole world is against me? And how intense, out of a percentage of 100, how intense is that emotion? And that might bring up anxiety. Take a little bit of time to go through your feelings when you have this thought. Anxiety might be at 100%. I mean, there's a deadline approaching. I feel like the whole world is against me, and that thought makes me 100% anxious. It'll make me defensive, probably about 80%. It'll make me very stressed, probably about 99%. It might bring anger because why is everybody always against me? And that'll probably be, the intensity of that anger will probably be at about 80%. And it might even make me feel claustrophobic. It feels like everything is encroaching on me. And I'd say maybe about 80%, but you would have your own examples of that. And then try and turn the thought into an alternative thought. What alternative thought can you come up with? Is there a more positive, empowering thought that you could reach for when you experience this negative thought? And the opposite of, or a better feeling thought than the whole world is against me could be, if I think about it, if I'm being honest about it, I can feel the love from my family members. And how does that thought make you feel? And if you can feel the love from your family members, is it then true that the whole world is against you? Another thought that I could think of as an alternative thought to the universe is conspiring against me is I will search for and return every smile that I see, even from total strangers. It's a thought I personally enjoy. It might not be the same one for you, but if I make myself conscious of looking at the faces of people around me, trying to recognize a smile or a hint of a smile, smiling at people and seeing them smiling back, makes it very clear to me that the whole world cannot be against me. Again, use the next page as well. There's not a lot of space on this page. There's only space for 3 thoughts. The next page has space for 4 thoughts, and print more if you need them. And again, you don't have to finish this exercise today. Take day 3, day 4, and day 5 to finish this exercise. And tomorrow, we start building your new daily practice to bring yourself into a one-mind state and learn how to reprogram your subconscious mind. Thank you very much for joining me on day 3. I know that if you take the time to go through this video again, take your time to go through day 3 in your workbook, read everything there is to read, and do some reflection and really be serious about analyzing your automatic negative thoughts and finding an alternative thought for when it comes up. This will be of tremendous value to you. I'm looking forward to sharing with you again tomorrow. I hope you have a fantastic day. Adios.